If your life was a blank sheet of paper and you wanted to pen your reality, what story are you writing? What would you write with the pen you've been given? Will you write a tale of two lives in one body, the life you romanticize and the one you're actually living? As I take the uncomfortable journey of self-reflection, gazing and basking at what I consider to be the beauty of my strengths while cringing at my imperfections, I've decided to write to the world the whole truth. Instead of compartmentalizing, I'll weave the two sections. And each chapter will be like sweet and sour sauce, every experience needed to flavor my life, what I've gained and what I've lost. It's like the paradox of the gospel, the beauty of salvation in the man on the cross. Before there was life in the resurrection, the ugliness of death is what paid the cost. But hear me out. What will you write? Because I'll write about how the gospel helps me make sense of the culture, how its reality gives me enough hope to navigate the vultures, those isms constructed by humanity, the agendas of those who either deliberately plot or subconsciously have plans for me. I'll write about how the conundrum of race is in fact a gospel issue, and the silence of factions in the church is appalling. To stand with and to stand against for the sake of justice, to be a voice for the voiceless is a risky but a necessary calling, lest we repeat the ills of history. I'll write about the betrayals of loved ones and strangers alike. It helps me survive the folly of my own ways as I flirt with the dangers I like. I'll write about pre- and post-revelation of Jesus Christ, how the activity of the Spirit of God created in me new life. The old me was immoral boldly, unapologetically preoccupied with the satisfaction of my desires only. The old me was vindictive to a fault. You got me? Well, I'ma get you. I kept everybody's betrayals in a vault. That vault was my heart. With the grip around offenses is how my heart formed. The old me made unforgiveness an art form. The new me had to forgive the debts of others as my eternal debt had been paid. The demons of my past had been slayed. The old me was content to be a taker as long as there was someone nearby who gave. Hear me out. What will you write? Because I'll write about my inability to love or be loved, how sex and love were synonymous, and the idea of love was ominous. The vulnerability required to be successful at it was too threatening to consider, so love got no serious consideration. So relationships were destined for obliteration from the start. The old me lived in a fortress because trust was elusive, like that one sock that goes missing inexplicably. I thought it was safe behind these walls, but then the gospel reverberates across culture and history as God calls and reenacts the resurrection through my life. The bondage of addictions, pride, and fear are incongruent with the re-imaging work that God began in me. They begin to disappear. Not overnight, but over time. Now I don't get drunk by alcohol consumption, but over rhymes. Because I'm a poet, and poets inscribe metaphors on the people's collective conscience to convince many to turn down the bribe of citizenship offered by Babylon, to construct many towers of Babel in a spiritual subdivision where the beast will simply make Stepford wives and husbands programmed to not think, but to just do and enjoy, and sometimes to not do or to not say anything at all. That would disrupt the game plan of the God of self-gratification. So what about you? If you had a blank sheet of paper and you wanted to pen your reality, what story will you write?